What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to the video. I hope you're all well. I'm fantastic. What weather we've had in England. Any of you guys who aren't in England right now, my God, for the last 8 weeks, we've honestly had something above 20 degrees Celsius the entire time. A couple days rain. It's been unbelievable, and I've been soaking up this goddamn sun. I wanted to start off this video talking about some things that you can do for free, to massively improve your life, your health of life, your wealth of life. I'm doing one of them right now, and it's going to be to stand under this glorious sun. We know that sun has amazing benefits in terms of vitamin D conversion, but also things like blue light. Now we know that blue light helps regulate our circadian rhythm, which is essentially our natural biological wake-sleep cycle. We have like a natural release of hormones over the day, which will help us sleep, help us wake up, feel good, be good, generally be a better person. So the sun is one. Also, this is one. Taking these off, standing on the ground. Obviously, I don't want to be holding the camera. You want to be away from electronics, for example. So you want to be away from electronics. You want to be out onto the ground, barefoot to the ground. You're going to be exchanging electrons with some woo-woo shit. A lot of good research that suggests that grounding will reduce inflammation, it will cause mortality. So 2 huge things there that you can do for free, which are amazing. Among things like going for a walk, having good conversation with people, there's a lot of good things. I did an Instagram post on this, which you should check out. Otherwise, let's get into the day. We've got a new training program. We're going to talk you through it. Today we've got pull. I'm very excited. Let's get it. So we're just coming in for a pre-workout at the moment, and this is Arms Race Nutrition Harness pre-workout. I showed this very recently in one of my last 2 videos, but this for me is very slowly becoming my favorite pre-workout you can have. So if you've not tried it, oh, it's so bright, isn't it? Try it. First exercise today, we're gonna go. First of all, we just split up our sessions, right? So we were doing upper lower with sprinkling of shoulders and arms on there. We've now gone to a push, pull, rest, arms, legs, because I need to grow my goddamn twig arms. So I wanted to put. Cheers, mum. So we got to go ahead and get into this pull session. So first of all, pullovers. I think we've just done a few sets, and actually I think everyone's unanimously preferring the D handles over than like a long rope. You've seen me do the long rope before where you're pulling over through, but the handles really allow you to kind of push back into it. This is just going to be much more of a priming movement. We're getting blood into the lats, we're getting the shoulders warm. We're kind of just getting that feel in the lats first. So if any of you guys do struggle with connecting to your lats, doing something like this first is a really good idea, because you're going to get a pump. I can feel it right now under my armpits. I'm getting a bit of a pump. When we do go into those pulling movements, you can have a lot better connection to them. So we're going to go on to a chest supported D-handle row. Now, something that I like to give as advice is, generally speaking, the goal of bodybuilding is to deliver as much tension, trauma to a muscle as possible. More often than not, stabilizing the movement, removing the moving parts is going to increase the tension you can deliver to a muscle. So we're trying to focus on this lat right now. Now I could do this without the chest support, and now immediately I'm engaging my core, immediately I'm engaging my hip flexion, and we could row like this. But if we take out the hip flexion by sitting down, we take out the spine support by leaning against this, we now have an entire internal focus on just driving that elbow back and destroying that lat as a whole. Whereas if we were stood up and doing this, sure, you're still going to get some taxation to that lat, but you're also going to have a little bit on your lower back, you're also going to have a little bit on your spine erectors trying to keep you straight, you're also probably gonna have a little bit on your rear delt as you pull back. So in minimizing the moving parts, in minimizing the things going on, we can increase that ability to add load to the muscle specifically. So in this case, this is just going to be for the lat. And on this, I like to put my leading foot forward. So with this, I'll be doing this with my left hand. So I put my left foot forward. This stops my hips rotating. If I was here, I can almost rotate my hip. But instead, I can stay here. I can stay locked in. I can just pull into this. And then any lateral rotation that I need is literally just, you know, in the back and in the lat, rather than having my hip here and then being able to rotate through the hip. So just think about the moving parts of the movement when you're going into it. Tip run. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
I don't know why people want to know you're having a tip run.
You want to have a tip run? Tip run.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I know. It just fell straight off the on camera as well. So we managed to fill my entire car. I've got an Audi A3 with boxes from all the equipment that I've bought, because the council keep refusing to take the boxes that we bring because they're too big and they can't flatten enough to fit in their lorry. So for 8 weeks of boxes gone. Okay, so this is a little tip for you guys. Anyone who is online coach or looking at, even to be fair, even looking to improve your own things, these are good things that you can use to track. First of all, I've got a client list. Now, I don't want to show you everything on here because obviously it shows you some personal information, but always got to take advantage of the lighting. So then I wanted to talk about my training split and essentially how I set it up and how it's quote unquote optimized. It's a little bit different, as you heard earlier in the video. Shut this. As you heard earlier in the video, I've got an arm day, like an entire arm day, and we know that ultimately bodybuilding is about delivering as much volume as you can to a muscle. So in turn, I'm trying to deliver way more volume to my arms. I also hit them on a chest day as well, like a push day, sorry. I'm getting my arms hit multiple times a week, which is ultimately the goal, because we know if we break down volume over the week in multiple sessions, we're more likely to perform at a higher level on those sessions, right? So it's not necessarily about the frequency, but it's just about how frequency improves those volume, those sets, those working sets. So something to consider. Now I'm just going to briefly talk you through the setup. So push-pull, ultimately because we want to do upper, and then we want to rest, and then obviously because we've only hit arms on that push day, we've rested arms on that back day. We hit arms entirely on their own, along with the rear delts and calf. So two things that potentially get tagged along at the end of a session more than other things. For example, abs are one of those as well. Now it's got its own session. We're gonna sort it out right, and then we've got legs, and then we've got another rest, and then we repeat. So legs tagged at the end. They're much more balanced in terms of volume delivering to the quad and hamstring, whereas before in the previous split we had much more of a split. I don't think there's one benefits the other. I just think when you're trying to fit a little bit more upper volume in there, it makes sense to kind of condense your leg in there. Ultimately, my arms need to grow, my upper body needs to grow as well, having this little bit more focus on that. I've got a pretty good ability to train now. The training plan is pretty comprehensive, and I'm excited to take you through it as we go through the sessions. Today was back, it was the first one. I'll talk you through that one just so it makes sense. So first of all, we did pullovers. We're just trying to work the lat in that shortened range, because for those of you guys who have missed me talk about resistance profiles, strength profiles, the lat, it just so happens that it's weakest when it's fully contracted, versus when it's fully lengthened and in the mid-range where it's the strongest. So I mean, if you're in an ideal world, you'd want a machine that goes from like light to heavy to light, but we can't always do that, so we can manipulate the way things are to try and match those. But not only that, but that ability to get in that position where it's super short or super contracted, it gets harder and harder as you work out. So you can imagine if you were to do some pull downs first, maybe some big bent over rows, and then go to some pullovers, you're already so fatigued from these ones that just to make the most of this range in here, which is really where we're trying to work, because I'm not trying to pull pullovers from here, I'm just pulling from here. So it's really just a little bit of mid, mostly short range. I'm not going to get as much out of doing those pullovers, third, fourth exercises, we are doing them first. Not only that, but because they're an isolation movement, just not a lot of energy being wasted versus a fucking barbell bent over row where you're loading your central nervous system is going to feel a barbell bent over row, versus like a pullover. So not only one is it energy efficient, works that range that we potentially don't get to later on, and then we'll work into some pumpy work after as well. So we do that mechanical load after we work in the short range for most things. To be fair, we want to exhaust that short range because it does get increasingly harder to exhaust that later down the line. And then we'll go into some mechanical loading, and then we'll go into some pump work, which is standard. Chase the pump. There's a reason why bodybuilders chase the pump. It's because the pump makes you grow. Metabolic work, blood flow restriction training, blood flow, very, very good. So hope that makes sense. I hope you guys enjoyed a little breakdown like this. I'll do this for each of the workouts as we go through in case you guys are interested. If you are, drop a comment. If not, drop a like. If you are, also drop a like. I know what I'm saying. See you guys soon. Thanks for tuning by. We'll be back very, very soon. Hope you've been enjoying the content recently. I've been enjoying making it. Peace and love, everybody. Bye-bye.